r/ask Reddit. What is illegal that feels legal? Downloading D&D rules PDFs. I've done this. I'm a monster, I know. We are all in the monster manual somewhere, are we not? Yep, most of us are commoners. Page 345. Filling in potholes in the street. WTF, so we have to wait like 10 years for the construction to come around and fix it. Feeding someone else's parking meter. Wait, really? I didn't know that was illegal. The reason behind this is that meters aren't there to collect money, rather force people to come back or move. By feeding someone else's meter, you are allowing the car to stay there, robbing someone off that spot. Drugs in the Netherlands. Yes, this weed remains illegal because the Netherlands is a signatory to various international treaties banning drugs. It's just that there's this legislative framework within which police have agreed not to enforce the law. Coffee shops, for instance, have to pretend that they don't know where they get the weed they're selling. You're in Amsterdam. If you want coffee, you go to a cafe. If you want marijuana, ganja, or some freaky deaky, you go to a coffee shop. Where I live, it is illegal to reverse backwards out of your driveway, but because of about 90% of our population does it, no one cares. Where I'm at, it's illegal to have your car running while unoccupied. So remote starts are basically illegal unless you're a weirdo and use one to start the car from inside. I remember last winter seeing on the news where some local police department decided to start ticketing cars that were warming up in people's driveways in sub-zero weather while the owners waited inside. The police chief claimed, on national TV, that he was doing it to protect people from having their cars stolen out of their driveway. Right. Downloading abandoned proprietary software. Even if the company that made it no longer exists, it's still technically copyrighted. I can brew beer, I can make wine, but the moment I evaporate the alcohol in the wine, I am committing a crime. God bless moonshine. Anything that requires people to be 21 rather than 18. Jaywalking. I think it's important people understand what jaywalking is though. At least in my state, it is legal to cross the street at any time, as long as there is no traffic. It is only jaywalking if you cross outside a proper crossing, when a proper crossing was available, and you disrupt traffic in doing so. This, though the specifics vary from place to place in the US, this is the gist of it. Handling a salmon suspiciously on the streets of London. Not just London, anywhere in the UK, and I does specify night, and for anyone who is interested, I believe it is because there was a group going round and stealing salmon from farms as they were very valuable during the night, so they made this law, and it's an old one that never got removed. Yo, I'm in Australia, and if your drive in the bush and sign says 80 km/h, you defo going 100 feels legal, mate. I had to read this in a thick Australian accent to actually understand what you said. Where you're from, I'll explain in her accent. Minor traffic infractions on quiet roads. Ignore the FBI piracy warning. You wouldn't download a car. Kinda surprise. Yes, kinda surprise eggs are illegal in the US. They also have a ridiculous $2,500 fine per egg you try to smuggle in. Collection of rainwater in barrels on your property. There's an urban legend about a guy who was jailed for collecting rainwater, which makes the rounds from time to time. But if you actually look it up, it turns out that by collecting rainwater they really mean damming streams to make private lakes. And even then, he wasn't actually jailed until after refusing to take the dams down after 10 years of being told to do so. Gambling under 21. My friends and I play poker all around campus and no faculty have ever bat an eye at it. I think the law is just there to keep kids out of casinos and to keep companies from profiting off of kids gambling, even though it happens anyway. Me and my friends were very open about playing poker for money when we were growing up and no one really cared. My buddies and I would play poker all the time, but we'd always hide the money somewhere goofy just in case. Recording NFL or MLB ball games without the expressed written consent of the NFL or MLB. The Trade Federation landing their invasion army on Naboo. I will make it legal. Letting my tits feel the breeze. Stop right there, criminal scum. In Norway it's illegal to raise the alcohol content of anything. so it feels perfectly legal to add some whiskey to my coffee to make an Irish coffee, but adding whiskey to coffee raises the alcohol level of the coffee, so it's illegal to do. However, if I put the whiskey into the empty cup and then add coffee, I'm diluting the alcohol of the whiskey, which is perfectly legal. Irish coffee may or may not be illegal depending on the order in which you mix the ingredients. Neither coffee, whiskey, or a mixture of the two are in any way illegal. Mixing them in the incorrect order might very well be. This goes for any mixed drinks. Even if your goal is to dilute wine, if you pour the wine into water, you're breaking the law by raising the alcohol level of the water. You have to pour water into wine if you want to dilute your wine legally. Your Honor, the accused was drinking liquor with his coffee. Some here may claim that he was simply drinking coffee with his liquor. These people are liars. Driving 20 kilometers per hour over the speed limit on an empty road. What's weird is in my country area, it's almost like it isn't illegal. 20 over might be the limit where it crosses over, but I can tell you everyone is 10-15 over, including the police. And highways it's certainly 20-25 over. I think it's one of those. You get a ticket if the cop is having a bad day or you're in a school zone. I'm talking about Canada, but I get the sense that they will just increase all the limits soon. They already have put a few highways up from 100 to 110 in my area. They legalized weed recently. It's just an observation, but it's like for crimes that the majority feel are victimless, we're slowly shifting the law to accommodate for right or wrong. Paying someone to help out with a project under the table. I don't mean like an ongoing employee. I mean like a buddy helps you do a painting job for an apartment or refinish a basement. So you throw them a few $100 for a couple days of working with you. Is that actually illegal? It was my understanding that as long as it isn't a long-term thing, it's perfectly fine. My girlfriend's father paid me $300 to take my Friday off from work and help him move heavy furniture out of his house. Was that against the law? Crossing the street while there is a pedestrian crossing lane within 20 meters. In the Netherlands. I was a lifeguard once and technically it was illegal to use an EpiPen to help someone experiencing an allergic reaction. Our boss told us that in the event of an emergency, we should administer the EpiPen and that they would have to fire us but would then do anything they could do to rehire us. Is this not covered by the Good Samaritan laws in the US? Like if you are doing chest compressions on an unconscious victim and break their ribs, you can't get into troubles for the injuries. I have also heard variations on my college campus that if you call 911 for someone who may have alcohol poisoning and you yourself are drunk, you don't have fear of being charged because you called the cops to save someone's life. This could just be something they tell us to keep people from dying. Jail fines equals temporary. Death equals forever. Prostitution. In some countries, prostitution is legal and safe. Collecting rainwater, lemonade stands, just building a house on your own property without permits, zoning etc. Downloading a car. You wouldn't. Watching pirated movies. It's perfectly legal to stream pirated movies or TV shows. Downloading them is illegal. Actually, it's the uploading that is illegal. The issue is people don't have the right to distribute. People get nailed for torrents on the upload. Streaming is entirely download. Even though we all know that stream is dodgy, the law is written that way because it is unreasonable to expect the average person to check that every media source has the correct rights. You don't ask your cinema for proof they can show you the film you bought a ticket for. You just assume they have the rights. Same for downloading pirate copies. It isn't on you to prove that Pirate Bay or whatever does or doesn't have the rights. However, the instant you upload, you damn well better have the rights. Cannabis. Literally, cops in my city don't care at all. If you get caught with it, they literally just empty it out onto the ground. No punishment. But technically you can go to jail for a while for possession of it. Waiting on someone by their porch. If person is there, you'll get in. If they aren't, or don't want you in, you are to leave. Many places consider camping, even if just for minutes, on porches as part of trespassing. Being an unmarried woman in Florida and skydiving on a Sunday. In London, it is illegal for the Queen to cross from Westminster into the City of London without written permission from the mayor. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.